Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about factoring using the box method, which I sometimes think is a little bit of a more visual way of factoring. Notice this is not in your book, but this is another way of doing factoring. If you do it by the book, the book pretty much well explains it, the trial and error method. But if you notice, if you look in the box, you're going to take your first term, which is the 5m squared, and you're going to put that in the top left box. You're then going to put your 6 in the bottom right hand box. So first term in the top left box, last term in the bottom right box. Notice up top I've identified what my A, B, and C is in the problem. And then I've also identified what A times C is. Since A is 5 and C is 6, A times C is 30, and then B is negative 17. So I'm going to kind of stop and think, and I'm going to think of all my factors of 30. And then I want to try to find two numbers that multiply to give me 30, but add to give me negative 17. So I come up with negative 15 and negative 2. Negative 15 times negative 2 is positive 30. And then negative 15 plus a negative 2 is a negative 17. So in the two remaining boxes, I'll put the negative 15 and the negative 2. Put an M with them since the problem has an M. It doesn't matter where you put the 15 or the 2, long as it is in the box. Then the next thing is all of my colors is my GCF. So if you notice the red line, that's my first row. I'm going to find the GCF of 5m squared and negative 15m, which is 5m. So I'm going to put that over to the left of that row. I'm going to do the same thing for the green row. So the GCF of negative 2m and 6 is negative 2. And then the blue column, I'm going to do the same thing for my columns as well. The GCF of 5m squared and negative 2m is m. And then finally, the black column, the GCF of negative 15m and 6 is negative 3. So that gives me my factors, and then all I'll do is just come down and write 5m minus 2 and m minus 3. Remember, it does not matter the order of those factors. You just put them down. Then, this next factoring problem is a factoring by grouping, which your book will do with parentheses. So it'll put the 8x squared plus 12x and the 2xy plus 3y in parentheses. Notice all I did was the same box. You're going to put the first term in the top left box. You're going to put the 12x in the top right box, and you're going to put the 2xy and the 3y in the bottom row. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before with my GCFs. Do the GCF of my green row, 8x squared and 12x, which is 4x. The GCF of the 2xy and the 3y, which is y. The GCF of the blue column, which is 8x squared and 2xy, which is 2x. And the GCF of 12x and 3y, which is 3. Then I'll just come down here and I'll write my factors of 4x plus y and 2x plus 3. And then that is my factors. Remember, your factors don't have to be in any particular order. And so that is factoring by the box. I really don't care which method you use, whether you use the box or whether you use the method covered in the book. But I did want to at least expose you to the box because some people may find this to be a more visual way of factoring.